Thank you, everyone, for joining us today as we celebrate the permanent installation of the Celebrating Sims exhibit here at Rocktown High School. I'm Molly Godfrey, professor at James Madison University. This is Sean McCarthy, now, sadly for us, professor at Montclair University, former professor at JMU. So as many of you know, Lucy F. Sims was born in 1856 with enslaved status and was raised on a plantation here in Harrisonburg. After the end of slavery, she attended the Hampton Institute alongside Booker T. Washington, and she returned to Rockingham County to teach over 1,800 students from across 3 generations, becoming now one of the most celebrated educators in Virginia. The Celebrating Sims exhibit tells the story of Lucy F. Sims and the school named in her honor, which was built not long after her death in the mid-1930s to serve African American students from all over Rockingham County and beyond. In 1965, when the Harrisonburg school system was integrated, the Lucy F. Sims School closed. To recover and tell this important history, the Celebrating Sims exhibit builds on the photographs and research of many local families and local historians, including Bill O. Harper, his mother Doris Harper Allen, Ruth Tolliver, Robin Lytle, Dale McAllister, and many, many others. In the exhibit, we learn about the life of Miss Sims, the incredible teachers who followed her, and the impressive quality of the education that students received at the Lucy F. Sims School. We also learn about the many ways in which the school played a central part in the lives of families in the northeast neighborhood of Harrisonburg and beyond.
So the installation of the exhibit that you see today is new, and we're here to celebrate that, but the project itself is not so new. In fact, it began way back in 2015 as a collaboration between students and professors at James Madison University and over 50 community partners, including the Shenandoah Valley Black Heritage Project, over a dozen former Sims students, the writer and historian Doris Harper Allen, and of course her son Bill, who's with us here today. This unveiling represents the 8th installation of the exhibit. The original and largest is, of course, at the Lucy F. Sims Center for Continuing Education, formerly the Lucy F. Sims School, and features the full exhibit and additional photographs shared by local families. There are copies of one portion of the exhibit in each of the Rockingham County high schools, a traveling exhibit that went up and down the state, and thousands of people saw it in the early 2019, 2021, and is now in Memorial Hall, the former high school, and is now the College of Education at JMU. The exhibit exists, oh yes, also it's in, of course, the original Harrisonburg High School over the road, right? So that's the 8 copies of the exhibit. That the exhibit exists in so many locations is a testament to the power of Miss Sims' story and, of course, the importance of the Lucy F. Sims School to the history of education and community in the region.
We are excited to share that this new installation of the exhibit here at Rocktown High School will also be complemented by new curricular resources created by local teachers Tim Van Schaik and TJ Hinley, all of which will be added to the Celebrating Sims website within the next few days. If you haven't visited the website for a while, it has also been thoroughly updated thanks to the work of our graduate assistant, Catherine Benson, over there. So it is, the website is now completely ADA compliant, and it features accessible audio-visual versions in English, Spanish, and Arabic, versions of the exhibit, as well as several interactive timelines and maps of the school and the region. The recent Mary authored Fairfax exhibit and our incredible Voices of Sims oral history project, both of which are available to explore in the conference room at the Lucy F. Sims Center, are also available on the website. And there should be a QR code on your programs if you want to try to access that, if the school will let you get on the Wi-Fi. We have a really great program for you today. First, we are going to hear briefly from 3 people who have been huge supporters of this project and its installation here at RHS. Harrisonburg Mayor Dina Reed, who is right here, okay. HCPS Superintendent Dr. Michael Richards, and RHS co-principals, Ms. Troxel and Mr. Henschel. Then we're going to open up for a discussion and Q&A with our panelists, as well as all of us who are up here, who are RHS Counseling Secretary Colleen Morris, Tim Van Schaik, who is social studies teacher at TA High School in Rockingham County, and Howard Curry and Billow Harper, both of whom attended the Lucy F. Sims School and have been working with us on this project for years. After we've heard from everyone, there will be more time, first for your questions, of course, but also more time to explore the exhibit and to share your own reflections on the project with our team. And so with that, I'm going to turn things over to our speakers in the order that I just mentioned, starting with the illustrious Harrisonburg Mayor, Dina Reed.
Good morning, good morning. What a beautiful day today is. Thank you for being here this morning, and thank you for asking me to share a few remarks on behalf of the City of Harrisonburg and the Harrisonburg City Council. I would like to recognize that we have Councilwoman Monica Robinson here with us, as well as our City Manager, Andy Banks, and I believe we have former Vice Mayor, Sal Romero, here as well. For me today is more than dedicating an exhibit. It is about making sure our history is seen, remembered, and passed on. Having the Lucy F. Sims exhibit now represented in both of our high schools means that our students and our teachers and staff and administrators have an opportunity to learn about Lucy Sims, the Sims School, and the rich Black history of Harrisonburg and our Northeast neighborhood. We know that we have students here that can now walk down the halls and see their family members. How powerful is that? And what makes this so unique is that those photographs are their own family, grandparents, great-grandparents, neighbors, teachers, and their own familiar names. Our teachers and staffs can learn from this exhibit just as our students can, because this isn't just Black history, this is Harrisonburg history. I hope everyone stops, looks at these faces, learns their stories, and understands the incredible legacy of the people who came before us. And I especially want to thank Molly and Sean for their continued work and dedication to our neighborhood. Now, I don't know if you know Sean and Molly, but I have worked with them, not so much Sean, but now Sean's gone, but we're glad you're back for this particular day. But I always state that because of their commitment to our neighborhood, they help us tell the stories of our ancestors. And so we are grateful for you. And a lot of that time is just volunteer. So we appreciate you. So can we applaud them for their commitment and dedication to the Northeast neighborhood? I want to close with saying something simple. Our history matters. Our stories matter. And now another generation gets to know them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Reed. I've been asked to say a few words about why it's important that these exhibits are actually in our high schools. And I want to reflect on that. That's not by accident that these exhibits are in our high schools in Harrisonburg. I also want to reflect on the moment that we're in currently in America. We're in a moment where the highest level of power in this country is asking or directing our revered institutions of history, the Smithsonian, universities, national parks, to erase part of our history. So that's the moment that we live in America. And so when I contextualize these exhibits within our schools, I want to keep that in mind. What we try to do in the teaching of history in Harrisonburg is three things, three pillars. We try to be honest. We want to be honest about history. We tell what happened, including slavery. segregation, discrimination, and resistance, in the contributions of people whose stories were previously marginalized. We don't sanitize the past and we don't distort it. So, pillar one, honesty. Pillar two in our teaching history is we want it to be reflective. We want to practice reflective history. We ask students to think about what people like Lucy Sims might have experienced, what choices they made within the context that they were living in. We ask what other students might have felt at that time period. We want students to be reflective. History becomes more than memorizing dates in Harrisonburg City Schools. It becomes an opportunity for thoughtful examination. So pillar two is reflective history, and pillar three is ethical history. We want to be ethical in our teaching of history. We recognize that teaching history carries a responsibility. We should neither erase injustice nor exploit it. We treat Lucy Sims, her students, and the communities around them as human beings with dignity, agency, and complexity. And so the three pillars we teach history with in Harrisonburg are honesty, reflectiveness, and ethics. And I want to add to ethics another component to that I think we are pretty good at in our schools in Harrisonburg. That is courage. We need to have the courage to confront what the past is asking of us today. Think about that. We need to have the courage to ask, to confront what the past is asking of us today. And we do that in our work in Harrisonburg City Schools. And so the fact that our students are walking through the halls of our schools with the history of Lucy Sims and the Northeast neighborhood on the walls is not accidental. It's not just a place to put these wonderful pictures and the history. It's intentional. We want our students to be honest, reflective, and ethical in their study of history. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to piggyback, or we're going to piggyback on some of the things that have already been said this morning, but I think that really speaks to Harrisonburg City Schools and to Harrisonburg City at large, that we are such a community and we have a shared mission and vision for what is important for our students and for our citizens to understand about where we live and where we come from and who we represent. So it's just lovely to hear some of those things that are also going to be echoed in what we say this morning. So thank you for that. As you said before, I'm Kelly Troxel, and this is Ryan Henschel. We're the co-principals here at Rocktown. And we're honored that you have joined us this morning as we unveil this new exhibit. So knowing that Rocktown has only been in existence for a few years, we're going into our third year, when people come into the building, the typical reaction is, oh, wow, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so new. And then inevitably, we end up with, there's not a lot on the walls yet. Yeah, it's, what are you gonna do with this space that you've been given? And that was with intention that we were going slow to go fast, because it's about our students and what they want to see in themselves represented in this building and in this space. And so we're excited that this installation has come to Rocktown because so many of our students are represented here in this installation. At Rocktown, our motto is belong, believe, and achieve. And this exhibit is a direct reflection of what those words mean in practice. It is not just decorative artwork, it is an active, living instructional tool built on our hallway walls.
First, it is about where our students belong. For our minority students and their families, having an installation that honors Black education during segregation and celebrates a trailblazer like Lucy Sims means so much. For the students in our building who grew up in the historic Newtown community and for the Northeast District, this is personal. It shows them that their stories, their families, and their heritage are an essential part of this school. For many of our students, this exhibit is about their own grandparents and great-grandparents who lived this history. Second, It gives our students something real to believe in. It proves that local history matters and that Black excellence is not just something you read in a textbook about a distant city. It happened right here in our town. Through these panels, oral histories, and digital resources, our kids get to do hands-on research in our own hallways, learning how to be the historians of their own community. Our teachers can take what is on these walls and connect directly to their daily lessons across multiple disciplines. In history and geography, students can dive into the MapQuest activity using the interactive map of Harrisonburg to trace the geographic footprint of historic Newtown, tracking how key landmarks like the Lucy F. Sims School, local homes, and Black-owned businesses shaped our city. Finally, Lucy Sims shows our students what it means to achieve. She faced incredible odds, but she built her legacy on love, trust, and a deep respect for learning, and an unwavering belief that every single person has worth. Over a 56-year career, she lifted up generations of students who went on to shape this town.
And so we want to say a sincere thank you to Dr. Godfrey and Dr. McCarthy and everyone who has put the time and the energy into bringing this exhibit to life. You preserve these stories with the care and dignity they deserve. We hope every student and teacher who walks past these walls is reminded daily of what we stand for. When our kids know they belong, when they believe in where they come from, there's no limit to what they can achieve. Thank you for bringing the Celebrating Sims exhibit to Rocktown High School and for the opportunity to continue learning and sharing her story and the stories of the people who call Harrisonburg home, with generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And we also want to sincerely thank Harrisonburg City Public Schools and Rocktown High School for partnering with us again to make this exhibit available to Rocktown High School teachers, students, and their families. I also want to thank the student workers at the Madison Art Collection who designed the installation guide that made it possible for facilities to hang it here on the wall and to make it look so beautiful. So please thank you to those students. I also just want to thank DP wherever he is for being my liaison on this project, and really everything, it would not have been possible without him. So thank you. And then finally, can't do these things without some money, so I really want to thank Virginia Humanities, the William M. King Charitable Foundation, and James Madison University for the generous support that made this new chapter of the Celebrating Sims project possible. I now want to open up for some questions with our panelists. So we have some questions we're going to ask. We're going to start by asking each of them, and then we'll open it up for some questions from all of them.
And I'll be walking around with the mic, if I can get it to work, so that we can all hear what everyone's saying.
So starting with Ms. Morris. Ms. Morris, you were at the opening of the exhibit on Zoom because it was COVID for Harrisonburg High School in 2021. And you have worked alongside that exhibit in that school, and now you're here. And so as we launch the exhibit in this new school, we wondered if you could speak a little bit to the importance of having the exhibit in public spaces such as these in our schools, as well as any particular hopes you have for its impact here at RHS.
Good morning. Remembering the old days. Remembering the old days. Years ago, I was at Sims when someone said, "Have you seen the exhibit on the wall?" The exhibit featured photos of our family members who attended Sims school before the segregation. There were pictures of them in school and out in the community. My eyes fell upon a picture of a familiar face. It was my mother, and how proud I was to see her. Traveling forward, the new HHS was built and Sims exhibit was inducted on the walls. Oh, what a joy to be able to walk down the hall and look over there and see my mother daily. I felt she was there watching over me. At times, I would take an upset, angry student to the exhibit to help calm them down. Some students said they never paid the exhibit any attention. We talked about making our own history, and one day, someday, they may put up photographs about us to remember us. One day, I was speaking to Kirk Moyers and explained how important and historical it was to have the Sims exhibit to each of the high schools. He and Principal Ryan Henshaw told me that they would have to see what they could do about it. So now faces and memories from the old schools can be shared with our current students and visitors to our schools. We can't forget about our past. Thank you.
Is this working? Can you hear me?
No.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No.
Okay, I'm cutting it in.
It's just cutting.
Hello?
Speak up.
Sure. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
So Tim, this exhibit coincides with the launch of some fantastic new lesson plans for oral histories. Is that working?
I'd say just project.
I will project.
That were conducted by high school students at your schools in Rockingham County, and that were published to the Celebrating Sims site in 2024. So we had high school students in the county doing oral histories with former Sims students in 2024. Those oral histories are all available now, both at the Sims Center and on our website. And you and TJ Himley have now been working on some new lesson plans that will work both with the exhibit and the archive of photographs that we have on the website, but also with those oral histories. So we wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the impact of collecting the oral histories in the first stage of this project on participating students, as well as any hopes you have for these new lesson plans.
Use my teacher voice. All right. I guess one of the challenges of being a history teacher, just an ever-present challenge, is how to make the past relatable and accessible to students with different experiences who may have not experienced similar things. So, getting them to go to the Sims school, be in the room where things happened, be with the people who experienced these things, was such a unique experience for students. And I went back this morning and looked at the comments they made to the school board back in 2024. One of my students said that when she sat down with Mr. Howard Curry and started talking, he started talking about his experience as a high school student, and she said, there was this like instant relatability that she felt with being in there, and really that instant connection with the past, I think was really unique for them. So with the lessons, we incorporate every year a field trip to Newtown and to the Sims Center, and with the lessons that TJ and I developed, hopefully the students will get to hear the oral histories, they'll get to hear, in their own voices, the joy and the memories that they have. So I think it's hopefully going to be a way of bridging that connection, getting them more plugged in to that past.
Hello?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just takes a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
So Howard, as a longtime resident of the Northeast neighborhood and partner with us on this project, we wondered if you could share a little bit about your own and your community's contributions to the exhibit, as well as anything you can share about how the exhibit has contributed to community life here in Harrisburg since the first launch.
Thank you, first of all. Thank Rocktown High and the staff, and Molly and Sean, for inviting me out this morning. Sometimes I'm a little hesitant about maybe speaking in front of the public, but my wife says, you talk all the time, so so here I am. And what was it, 2019, I think, that a group of folks got together and they wanted comments on what it was like being a student. And not only was I a student, I liked photography. So some of the pictures that are on the wall, actually I took. And so, and I look out on the audience and some of the younger students, because we went from 1 to 12. So we had younger students and older students. So in a sense, it was a good combination, because we told the younger kids what they couldn't do, and then the older guys told us what we couldn't do. But I'm just very pleased that this is displayed and to be in Harrisonburg. I was in Little Harrisonburg. I graduated in 1961, and I was gone for about 10 years in the military around it. But I always was drawn back to Harrisonburg. And then I became aware of my legacy. Who I am and what I am is part of the Miss Lucy Sims legacy. And I hope to carry or impress on other folks, the younger folks, that part of that legacy that can make you successful in life, and regardless of your background. When I was a student, I didn't look at it as being segregated. I looked at it, others didn't have the opportunity that I had as a black man. I was enjoying my life, playing football, basketball, dancing. I don't want to make this long, but I really am happy with being in a school like this. I'm like, man, why did we have a school like this? Why were they building schools to separate folks? They could have combined the money and made one gorgeous school like this. Where everyone. So I got nephews and grandkids who are now attending this school. So here in Harrisonburg, the result of Lucy Sims also has influenced on what this is now, who we are.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Molly.
Testing? Doesn't want me to talk.
All right, Billo.
There we go. This project would not have been
Possible with,
without the help of many, many people, especially you.
and of course, your beloved mama, Doris Harper Allen. Can you share with us what motivated your mother, Dr. Allen, to write about life, her life and that of her
Community, and also
what words
of
of
encouragement
encouragement you might have?
for the students who will walk past this exhibit every day.
Well, first of all, to be truthful, fruit doesn't fall too far from a tree. So I had to make me some notes to speak in regards to your question. And thank you, and Sean and Molly, for your continued leadership. No question, the Northeast community, Newtown, thanks you. And I'm really happy to be here, that I could be here today. In answer to your question, my mother, Doris Howard Harper Allen, was selected by her family to record the community and the family. Her mother and father gave her a Kodak Brownie camera, and the rest is history. She became a author, scholar, community advocate that many of you here experienced, even at different levels than I experienced, because she lived here all through her life, and blessings to her for that. She was really concerned all the time about those of you who haven't read her book. I encourage you to read it the way it was, coming of age in Harrisonburg, Virginia, during Jim Crow. And she explains the community and explains her experience. But personally, she was always challenged by, why can't we collaborate together? That was always her, and also being a single parent, she always was working and busy. But when it came to community, and there are some folks that might be sitting here that was either a part of the early Sunday school meetings on Sundays, that she would go pick up all the kids in the community. But she always felt that collaboration was the key. And I would add to that, when it came to Sims, Lucy Sims, the school itself, was a cultural, educational institution of the Northeast community of Harrisburg, known as Newtown. There are members who are present today who attended Lucy Sims. From the start to the graduation, as the elder here, Howard Curry, explained. And I'm a little concerned that you put me behind Howard. Okay, but I'm going to do my best. But what is so significant about Lucy Sims and the exhibit is that not only does it give a snapshot, but it gives the impact that education can have. And that's what we're all faced with today, is how are we going to take education and create an impact for the students that are now walking our streets, walking our halls. When I pulled up out here, and I have to give acknowledgement to Mayor Reed and Superintendent Michaels for the great leadership, Sal, great leadership to make this happen, and others who are here who made this happen, because I pulled up, I didn't know where I was going to park. So I did Old Valley Boy. I went down to the end and started back up. So I was like, just pull up right here. So when I parked, and this is really icing on the cake, I saw a family pull up, a young man got out, I could see he was coming in to register for class with his mother and father. That's what it's all about. And so Sims represented that for us in our community. And I acknowledge that this is a great accomplishment that we all are making, but the reality now is we need to step up and move to this next level. And that is, what are we going to do with AI? What is the humanity that we're going to put in this technology that will allow our young people to grow and see the value of an education?
Now we're going to open up for questions from all of you. So if you have a question, raise your hand and Sean will come around with the microphone.
Or
Comments. Additional thoughts.
Speaking plainly, because I haven't seen the exhibit in Harrisonburg High, is it similar or what's different between the two schools?
This is exactly the same as what you'll see at Harrisonburg High, other than just but we're able to put both in the atriums of both schools.
The Celebrating Sims exhibit that is at the Lucy F. Sims Center, that's the flagship exhibit. And so that one is actually about twice the size because it includes so many additional photographs. Some taken by Howard, that are in between each of the narrative panels. But both this exhibit and the one at Harrisburg High School will tell the same story and have all of the narrative panels.
And we also celebrated another teacher there, Mary Walker Fairfax, in
At the Lucy F. Sims Center, we also have a companion exhibit about Mary Alford Fairfax, one of the most beloved teachers. And she taught second grade in what is now the conference room of the Sims Center, and so we were able to put the exhibit celebrating her life and her work up in the conference room where she taught.
There's also a kiosk in that conference room which gives you access to the oral histories.
I don't have a question. Not only
That's for sure.
I don't have a question. I actually have a comment that might be led to a question for the county. I want to thank the county for seeing that this was an important piece of history to have in the county schools. I guess my question would be, how is it received in the county? Because I believe it's in, how many schools in the county?
It's in all four of the.
All four of the high
A
schools.
smaller version, but all
Of the county.
Yeah.
And what made it so significant that the county was like, we need to have this in our schools? County's bigger, right, more schools, but to have this piece of history in the county, I think is amazing.
I can say my knowledge on why they were installed is limited, but I assume I'd have to give a shout out to Bo Dickinson, the Director of Social Studies for the county, for really spearheading that. He's been involved in a project with Farmville, Virginia, and telling those stories. So, and Mr. Longate from Spotswood High is here today. You know, that also coincides with the teaching of the African American History elective, which was then ordered by the General Assembly. So the elective is now active at all 4 county high schools. And so, similar to what another panelist said, we take them, one of the first things we do, we take them to the Sims exhibit, which is in a hallway near a math classroom at TA. And the comment we get from a number of students is, I've never stopped and I've never looked at this. Yeah. And so, I think just having that story there, that's the starting point, and then that really, it kind of grows from there.
I'm not sure it's going to work. I just wanted to add to your comment. I'm Owen Longacre. I teach at Spotswood High School, and I partnered with Tim in the Oral History Project. But I just wanted to point out the panel that's right behind up there that says many roads to Sims, because the Sims schools didn't just serve Harrisonburg; it served Rockingham County. So it is our history, and it's our story. And I think talking about where these students came from and how far they came to the Sims school and what it meant to them, and how teachers traveled or they were housed in Harrisonburg in order to be there for the entirety of the week, to teach these kids. It really is a combined story. So I like to press our students on that this isn't Harrisonburg history. This is our history too.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent.
Yes, and follow up, Mayor framed statement along with opening up for other questions. When I was interviewed by 2 TA students about my experience at Sims, what really stuck out was their interest in local history. And I can remember Mama constantly telling me as she was writing her 3 different books was that she really wanted what she was talking about, the story, to be throughout Rockingham County and Shelby Valley. And she always wanted students, and what she did, and we have a lot of professors and teachers here. Mark from EMU experienced a lot of her interaction with students and his students at EMU, but she always wanted students to know the story. And it wasn't about that history was just black history. She always felt, and this, probably becoming, hopefully we're able to do this other book and some other her writings, but she always felt black history was American history. Always.
Stephanie.
Hello?
There you go.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Howard. I'm the center supervisor at the Lucy Sims Center, so home of the original exhibit. And I just wanted to, I don't have a question, but I just want to thank Molly and Sean, again, to Dina's point earlier, for their diligent work in gathering all of those that were involved and making it happen at Sims and continuing to be a part of that and continuing to push, to have that in the local high schools and everything. So from the bottom of my heart, I truly thank you all. My family is very well represented in the exhibit, so for me, I grew up going to Sims as my recreation. And so to see that history now on the walls there, my family, and just being there and being a part of that is something very, very special. And I thank you all and all the others, my cousins that have helped in the project. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
And thank you, Stephanie, because we wouldn't have been able to do it without you. You've opened up so many doors for us, and it's great to have you here. So thank you as well.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm from down in the county and of Elton, and I want to thank for having the opportunity to be in here. Being in the county, I drove the bus for 4 years of bringing people from the eastern part of Rocktown County through Elton, McGaysville, and into the city of Harrisonburg to be able to go to Lucy Sims and get my education. And I want to thank them for it, and thank me for having the opportunity to be here. So I wanted to speak on Lucy Sims. On behalf of Lucy Sims, it was a great school, and I had a great time there, and I got my education there. And I thank you all for having me this morning.
Let Ms. Davis go first. We were talking about how far students came to know the SIM. We had students from Mount Jackson and Newmarket also. They would have to ride an hour. Now, I don't mean the highway now, there was no 81. We were talking about the old road. They would have to travel an hour to come to school every morning. And go to school and then go back in an hour to get back home. And it's a blessing that they did come and they just blended in with the city and the county. I myself, I grew up in the city, but then I moved to Bridgewater when I was 10, but I still attended Sims the whole 12 years. So like I said, it was like a community, it was a village. Everyone looked out for everyone, everyone helped everyone, and I'm from the Elton area now. And about maybe 15 years ago, I had worked with the county. During February, they would have me come in. They said the children learn from someone with experience going through segregation, integration. And I would go into the schools and tell them how it was and the questions that the children had. It was amazing. And a lot of them did not know that Harrisonburg was segregated. And honestly, a lot of them thought this happened 200 or 300 years ago. They were surprised. They said, "You're still living? You live through this?" Yes. It's amazing. And it would be nice if we could get back to bringing in people to talk with the kids. Their minds are so inquisitive, these younger children, and of course the high school. But it's amazing that they did not know, a lot of them did not know about Lucy Sims. They did not know that school. They know what a square Sims and what a park is. But they did not know there was a school that we had to attend to. But I appreciate it. I love my school. I love still go around in my town. A lot of you have seen me, and I still do a lot of research about Sims. And I will tell you a good resource. The Daily News Record has an archive through the library. You'll have to have a library card though, and you can access a lot of the information. I was the last graduating class, and our class gets together once a month, and we do things. We've been just about, we try to pick a different place every month. A lot of them could not get here today, but I'm filming it, taking notes, so that when we have our next meeting, I will be able to tell them what went on, so they'll be able to know what is being done. The pictures are gorgeous. A lot of memories, just seeing the pictures. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come today. I have enjoyed it.
Good morning, Councilwoman Robinson, also the Director of Shenandoah Valley Black Heritage Project. But I am so honored today to be here because we move away all of those titles, and I'm just, product of Newtown. And I grew up hearing the stories of Sim School. Grew up wondering about, Mom, which locker was yours? And going to Sims in the afternoon, as Stephanie said, that was our recreational center. Wondering about the places that we couldn't go to downstairs or upstairs and what that looked like. But this exhibit and this opportunity for our schools has really helped to fill in the gaps of missing information. It has given me opportunity to speak to my grandchildren, my son, about the impact of Lucy F. Sim School. And it's also allowed me to be able to enrich and enhance the lives of upcoming students when I partner with Mr. Longnecker here when we do a project at Spotswood together, all because of two different things. One, the willingness of the school systems to acknowledge that this history did exist and that it needs to be told, and the willingness of the teachers to teach it. Because being a teacher for many years, people can tell you what to teach and you can teach it. But the love and care that they put into teaching this makes you know that it's important and it's as meaningful as the next lesson that they're about to teach. And that's the difference. So we are blessed from the top down with the superintendents who say, let's do this, to folks like Bo Dickinson who continues to scratch the surface, and then we have teachers and we have community members who say, I got more to give, and down to institutions. So it's all about collaborating and layering those resources together to tell a history, to tell a good, solid history that we can continue to use to learn and teach for, decades to come. So I thank you, Molly. Thank you, Sean. I thank every community member here for continuing to say, yes, I'll give another interview. Yes, what else could I possibly say? I haven't already said, and I'm like, don't worry about it, we'll just ask you again. I'm just so thankful for them allowing us to encroach upon their personal life, their memories, and all of that. So again, I am just humbled and honored to be here in the presence of so many and during such a great moment in history. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you all to all of you, especially Molly and Sean. I remember when you all started this project, and it's been a long time, a lot of work. But I wanted to say, pick back on what you were talking about, people coming from out of town. My uncle used to say, he went to Sims, and he used to say, we went to school when it was dark and came home when it was dark. And to Miss Allen, me and Miss Doris, we used to go to all the events that Bo Dickinson and Bobkin and Rose used to have about Miss Lucy Sims. And she told me when I first started out the Northeast Neighborhood Association, there's so much rich history here. And you're going to read about it one day. You just watch. And here we are.
I would just like to say one thing, because I think we would be remiss to not acknowledge Robin Lytle, who was the former director of the Shenandoah Valley Black Heritage. So, Monica, can you pass on
We could not have done this without Robin. Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie. I think the mic is yeah.
Good morning.
You don't need that mic.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was born and raised in Bridgewater, Virginia. Now, when I say this man, I've been so used to it because my family married into her, Mrs. Wayne Baldwin. She was my first grade teacher in Bridgewater. Bridgewater School went from kindergarten to 7th grade. she was very good with the weight. And she used to get on me because my birthday fell on December the 8th. And so I had to lay out, set out the entire year. So I was oldest one in kindergarten. I was almost 6 years old in kindergarten. And everybody always questioned about that, why I was so full when I graduated. But anyway, she was very good, and I always got so used to, well, that was her name, Miss Wayne. Wayne, that's what I call it all. My aunt married her, one of her brothers. But anyway, I came to Lucy Sims in 1950. I was a baby of the family. I followed my baby sister. She graduated at 16. She was very smart. So I'll never forget, when I came through the front door, I went straight to the lock because I was signed 24, I believe it was. And who was standing at the door was Professor Harris. So he said, hey, young man, he said, what is your name? I said, my name is Emily Lee. He said, are you in the Lee? Sean Lee? I said, yes, that's my sister. He said, well, you gonna be like her? I said, no, I'm not hard. But I'm holding on. So anyway, he said, another thing, what's that on your head? I said, well, back in the day, when familiar with it, we wore a pompadour, a little piece of hair. And I had a toothpick in my mouth. He asked me, why you got all that? I carried a toothpick to keep you from smoking. Because back in the day, you know, we used to go and get corn syrup. Go up the corn cob and put the syrup down. Light it up, we going down the track, over the street. But anyway, he said, he said, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. He said, I want you to get that thing off your head, that toothpick out of your mouth, and report to Miss Edith L. Oliver, so that thing corner in school. She's an English teacher, but she's also my homeroom teacher. She asked me a difficult question that Professor Harris did. I said, no, I'm not. But she said, anyway, you bring me a 10-page composition in on that Monday morning. I said, okay. So anyway, I went home and told her, I said, I got to write a composition, I don't even know what else to do. But anyway, I I just knew this would work. So when I gave it to Miss Oliver, she said, Lee, you didn't write 10 pages of nothing. So anyway, when I did, I got all my periods, my colons, semicolons, commas. Made the whole paper would read it. So I promised her I would do better. And I really enjoyed going to Lucy Sims because I come with a lot of good teachers. When I left my homeroom teacher was Edith L. Oliver, I went down to Professor Harris. He was teaching science, all that kind of stuff. So the history of he was teaching. And then on my third period, I went to Samuel Ewell. I really loved that because I was a great love teacher. Yeah, and he was great. Once I got that down, Mr. Ewell said, Lee, come up here and show me how you do this out for you. I said, Mr. Ewell, you just told me. Well, he said, you caught on to it real quick. I said, yeah. I hope I did, because I was really studying hard, because I knew if I didn't, my father would be all over top of me. Yeah, when my report come out. But I'm gonna cut this short. I'm gonna cut this on that day. Anyway, I enjoyed Lucy Sims. We had some beautiful teachers. To this day, I can name you every teacher that I came to. And the things we did, I played everything but football. They didn't have football when I was young. We had little basketball, baseball, run good track. But anyway, I enjoyed the teachers very much, and I enjoyed the school stuff. We used to rap the baseball. Well, Miss Wayne, she involved in so much stuff. She used to have plays. She wouldn't ask you, she'd put you in. Right. Well, she do the shooting, do the spray. But anyway, I really enjoyed myself, and I graduated in 1956. And you know, anybody goes through that, you get a little emotional, at least I do, because I done met all these good friends, and I'm leaving something that I really love. And I said to myself, well, yeah, they won't take me back for another year. So anyway, I hung around after I graduated. I hung around, did a few little things. I used to go to this cat store summertime. I was a work job as a horseman. Before we took the girls and the ride and all that. So I said, well, I'm not finding a decent job. So I enlisted in the military. And so I spent the rest of my growing up all that through Germany, Vietnam, and USA. But school was a blessing. It's really a blessing. You know, the kids, I've always talked about W.M.P. Harris. I loved him. He taught me one thing that carried with me all my life. He said, Lee, remember one thing as you go through this world. The books is nothing but a trademark. He said, you learn how to speak. But he said, you keep that trench ears open, and then when you come out your mouth, you know exactly what you're talking about. And so it's a blessing. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the invite, and I am impressed to see all of the history and the preservation of the history on display all across the school. My question is, I guess, to assist this gentleman with teaching the history and bridging the gap, and then also looking at this exhibit and the history of Sims as a puzzle piece in the entire, tapestry of the history of Shenandoah Valley. What's next for the exhibits that will be in the school? What's next for this school for youth to be able to connect their history of all different lineages and backgrounds to this history and be able to find a common interest, to ignite an inspiration of progress and connection. Right? So what's next for the exhibits? And I, something like that. Anything was next, I'm sorry.
I don't know. Well, I can say what's next for Sims is that we're really hoping, we've spoken to Stephanie about this, to do something to honor W.M.P. Harris over at the Sims Center. That would be really lovely, and I'm hoping that I can collaborate with Monica on some things as well. I don't know if the school wants to speak at all about it. We have this amazing lesson plans coming. I don't know if Harrison High School has the African American History elective. Is it offered here? I'm hoping that's coming soon.
As a quick note in terms of the teachers, Molly and Barbara Jean Lewis and Sharon Barber reached out to me probably about 4 years ago about David Hedgley, who's a teacher at Lucy Sims. Little was known as he became Dr. David Hedgley. And he taught in 1962, he taught science, and he taught English. And he came from Richmond, Virginia. But he represented one of the distinguished pedigrees of the teachers at Sims. But he went on to become a NASA scientist. And after Barbara Jean and Sharon reached out to me, along with Molly, I reached out to him while he was still alive and interviewed him. He is known right now, Dr. David Hedgley, you can Google him, as the creator of computer graphics. And he went through a whole experience at NASA in terms of when he ended up being there and as an African American. But he went on to become a very distinguished scientist, creating a really interesting world that we're in now, which is algorithms. And so, as far as what's next, I'm hoping that maybe we collaborate definitely with the school system, Molly and Stephanie and some others here, in terms of how we tell Dr. David Hesby's story and connect it to one of the original thinkers of how we operate now in AI.
That'd be a good place for that.
Marlon, I want to get to the question of connection. So we've got some folks in the audience. I want to thank them for being here. Faculty members who can speak to this better than I can. But I do want to make this. I do want to draw that out a little bit. The idea of connections and what's next. So somebody that I was standing with, and I apologize, I forgot who it was, but I was talking to a lot of people earlier, pointed out the symbolism of the Sims exhibit being across from all of these international flags, right? And the idea that our students come from struggle. Many of them come from some rather immense obstacles that they face in their young lives. And so I think that part of our curriculum is to help bring the history of Lucy Sims along with it. Because of course Lucy Sims was operating as an amazing professional in the face of complete inhumanity. And so the idea that some of our students have faced that sort of struggle and that they can connect to Lucy Sims and connect that to our local history here, I think is very important. So I don't know if that's where you're going with it, but I thought it's important to bring that out, that our teachers, our very talented teachers in the city and in the county can make that connection with our students.